When I was a kid, Nickelodeon was like the channel to watch. I mean, after school, you'd come home and watch Legends of the Hidden Temple, you know, and there'd always be that one kid who could never figure out how to put that silver monkey statue together. I mean, like, come on, what are you doing? But on Saturdays, they had this 2-hour block called Snick, where the good stuff was. This is where you could watch like Clarissa Explains It All, Ren and Stimpy, and one of my favorite shows of all time, back when I was young enough to actually like stuff, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And I mean, between that show, Goosebumps, and watching kids in Capri Sun commercials just melt right in front of you, like, no wonder I turned out the way I did. But anyway, the whole shtick of Are You Afraid of the Dark is this group of Canadian kids called the Midnight Society, all sitting around a campfire and sticking toothpicks in their eyes, while one of them shares a scary story they probably just found on Reddit like 5 minutes ago. Now, the show went on for like 6 or 7 seasons, so it was kind of hard to pick just one episode, but ultimately it came down to a choice between the tale of the prom queen or the tale of that one time my grandma had a few too many special gummy bears and watched infomercials for like 36 hours straight. So I just went with this one. But before that, really quick, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is basically a huge online community where you can learn pretty much any skill you could ever want to, hence the name. Now, I get a lot of questions from you guys, mostly questions like, why is your voice so annoying? But also, I get a lot of people asking me how to start editing their own videos, or how to learn animation, how to learn motion graphics, that kind of stuff. Well, Skillshare is the place you want to go. They have all kinds of classes about how to learn Premiere Pro, or how to design animated characters, or this color masterclass I've actually been using about how to learn color theory and like use color in interesting ways, which is something I never really understood much about until now. So, no matter what your skill level, there's something here for you. Now get this, everyone who signs up using my link down below get 2 months unlimited access for free. And then it's just $10 a month after that. And it's not just creative stuff, okay? They got business classes, finance classes, self-improvement classes, really anything. So, if you're ready to start learning that skill you always wanted to, this is your chance. Click my link below, sign up, and get started today. Okay, back to the show. We start off with the storyteller for this episode, who's really just going the extra mile this week.
It's time to begin my tale. So what's the get-up? Sit down, you geek. I'm doing this for effect. My tale is one of woe. It has been told around many campfires.
I love how all these kids are just not having this. Like, this guy's just over here like, you telling me I rolled up my pant legs for this? Anyway, so finally the story begins. We meet this teenage girl just hanging out in a cemetery doing whatever people do there when she runs into these 2 ne'er-do-wells who were also hanging out in a cemetery because, yeah, you know, before the internet there was pretty much nothing to do.
Whoa, chill. We're not ghosts. Relax.
Then again, maybe we are. Ever seen Night of the Living Dead?
Oh, back off, Jam.
You guys always hang around graveyards and scare people?
Hey, we're just having a goof.
Just having a goof, huh? This kid talks like my dad. See, now that's the problem with teenagers nowadays, all right? Too many kids out there having them goofs, I tell you what.
I'm Greg. This is Jam.
What's your name?
Dee Dee.
Anyway, so after scaring this girl in a cemetery and then somehow blaming her for being upset about it, these 2 guys just keep on with their quest to get put on a government list somewhere.
Saturday night's prom night. The night of the prom queen?
Prom queen?
You don't know the story of the prom queen?
No.
Well, don't you live around here?
I used to. I'm just visiting.
Oh, well, it's an old story.
Okay, so clearly she's just trying to leave the situation, right? I mean, this is like Twitter DMs in real life, but instead of trying to get pictures of her feet or whatever, this guy's just like, you wanna hear a ghost story? Anyway, so this guy starts telling her about how a long time ago, there was this girl who was standing by the road, waiting for her date to take her to prom. But she got hit by a car, and so now she's a ghost that stands by the road every year on prom night.
We've been looking for a grave that might be hers.
You want to help? It's a big cemetery. Come on, Greg thinks you're a babe.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
Well, now that's the $1 million question now, isn't it? Because I mean, you know a guy who looks like this definitely has at least 5 notebooks full of weird pictures of Hey Arnold. So the girl decides to tag along with them because...
Sure, why not? Sounds kind of creepy.
Which, oddly enough, is the same exact thing every girl said when they had to sit next to me in class. Now, they head over to the local library to try and look through some old newspapers, and they find out that after the prom girl died, her boyfriend was also in a car accident. Woo! But then things start getting real weird.
Who's that?
Would you children like some tea?
So after this, Dee Dee has the idea that if this girl's ghost is waiting for her boyfriend every year for like 50 years or whatever, they should maybe try to contact the ghost of the boyfriend and tell him to go pick her up and take her to prom already, because I mean, the late fee on that dress rental's gotta be like $1 million at this point. But like, this whole situation really makes you appreciate having smartphones and stuff nowadays, you know? Because like back when I was a kid, apparently you could just abduct some random girl from the cemetery, go hunting for ghosts together, and finish up the day with a seance, and no one would ever know. Anyway, that night, they all get together at the bridge where the ghost girl's boyfriend's car crashed into the river. Now, to do the seance, they start holding hands, you know, so Greg's face is just kind of like, and then they begin.
To contact Ricky's spirit, we have to picture him. Think of what happened that night. Try to picture an old 55 Chevy. See it driving onto the bridge. Ricky's behind the wheel, and he's very upset because of Judy.
Hey, you're pretty good at this.
Shh.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of starting to wonder who abducted who in this show. So they keep on going, and suddenly something starts coming out of the water. And so naturally, they freak out and row back to shore in the most dramatic way I've ever seen. What was that? So eventually the bubbling stops, but they don't see like any ghosts or whatever, so they're not really sure what's going on. Now, to prove to themselves whether the ghost story is actually true or not, they all decide to go back to the cemetery the next night, which of course is the night of the high school prom. So, you know, I guess Dee Dee over here never got invited, and these two couldn't get anyone to say yes, huh? Bunch of losers. I never went to prom either. Anyway, so then it's time to bust some ghosts.
There she is.
Do we wait here or what?
Maybe we should split up.
No way. We're staying together.
Let's wait down there. We can see the road to the gate and the grave from there.
You doing okay there, buddy? You want to give it one more try?
We can see the road to the gate and the grave from there.
Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, yeah, he just noticed that everyone's wearing the same exact clothes like 3 days in a row. Anyway, so they wait until midnight to see if the ghost of the girl is actually going to show up or not. And then, when the time comes, guess what happens?
Oh, the ghost. Huh? Look. No way. It's her. Oh man, it's her.
Oh no, whatever shall we do? But then, surprise, surprise, we find out that it's actually that weird guy's cousin just pretending to be a ghost, and all of this was one big prank. But right at that moment, they see an old car driving up the road, and turns out it's actually the ghost of the boyfriend from 50 years ago. And then at the very end of the story, we get the plot twist of the century.
It's an old Chevy. Dee Dee? What are you doing?
I couldn't leave the cemetery unless someone brought me with them.
That's right, kids. You see, the moral of the story is if you see a girl by herself, you might as well kidnap her, because, like, what if she's a ghost or something? You know, I mean, it's 50-50 shot either way. Although I think we can all agree that the real horror story here is Dee Dee having to hang out with this guy with, like, no way out of it. Now, oddly enough, Nickelodeon's actually doing an Are You Afraid of the Dark revival TV miniseries thing this month. And the first episode is up right now on their YouTube channel, you know, if you want to check that out. But yeah, so just like with Goosebumps, which I made a video about last year, this is another one of those shows that I just really loved when I was a kid. But watching it now, like, boy, you know, my standards were really low back then, huh? You know, doing these kinds of videos on YouTube, like, it's really easy to get caught up in just trying to chase, like, the newest thing and, like, what's the most recent movie, the most recent TV show. I gotta catch up on all these things. But, you know, once in a while, it's nice, at least for me, to kind of go back and watch something that I liked when I was a kid. Because as far as, like, somewhat recent TV shows and stuff, like, I used to really be into Gossip Girl and Secret Life of the American Teenager and Glee and that type of thing. And I've done all of those. And so it's kind of like, you know, there's stuff from my childhood I haven't quite done yet that I kind of want to get to, but then there's also always new stuff coming out on Netflix or whatever, you know? So it's like, Are You Afraid of the Dark was one of those shows that when I was a kid, you know, when it came on, because, like, when you're a kid, you don't really have this concept of, like, TV schedules. It's just like, you turn on the TV and then there's something there, and, like, you hope that you're lucky enough to catch the show you want to watch, even though it's literally on the same time, same day, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, early 90s, I was like maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, you know, and, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark was just like That was my jam. When you're younger and the show started up and you started watching it and you're like, oh, this show is so great. And then you go back and watch it like, 10, 20 years later and you're just like, why did I ever like this show? Before I did My Babysitter's a Vampire, like everyone told me about how like, oh, this is my favorite movie growing up. I used to love this movie. This movie's so good. Don't you dare make fun of it. And then of course I watched the movie for the first time and I feel like a lot of people who haven't seen the movie in a while were probably like, huh, why did I like this? I mean, I guess kids will literally watch anything, okay? Because I was really into this show that was like the cheesiest, just the corniest show. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I know this video is probably not going to do particularly well because, it's like 90s stuff. Not everything I do has to be the newest, most recent thing, It's like I like to go back and do my own stuff now and then, so I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss any videos from me. Follow my dog Charlie on Instagram, Charlie Meets Pumpkin. My wife posts there almost every single day. Follow me on Twitter. Let me know what was your favorite part of the video or what video I should do next, or just say hi. That's fine, too. And above all else, everybody have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.